And joining us on the phone is the CEO of a transportation and logistics company, CDL1000, Andrew Sobko. Andrew, welcome to Mark My Words.
Hey, Mark. Thanks for having me.
No, of course. And Andrew, you've been in the press. I saw you on ABC 7 last week. You were on NBC 5 giving media interviews because not only do you have a transportation logistics company headquartered here in Chicago, but you also have a satellite office with employees there in Ukraine. Unbelievable story. When you talked about how your 60-year-old father, has enlisted in the Army, you'd mentioned to me before that your grandfather. So, Andrew, first and foremost, my thoughts and my prayers are with your family, your friends, colleagues there in Ukraine as they really battle this out. Your thoughts?
Thanks, Mark. Thanks for your support. I mean, number one, we're trying to be extremely supportive to Ukraine, and I'm trying while I'm here in the United States, so I'm going on different, TV channels and radio stations. I'm trying to deliver a very simple message, and I'm constantly, not just in touch with my dad, my grandfather, but I'm constantly talking to two ministers. One is actually Minister of Digital Transformation, and another one is actually Minister of Finance. So I'm trying to kind of just effectively promote, war bonds, which become effective actually as of tomorrow, and they're being sponsored by Citibank. So I highly suggest, whoever wants to help Ukraine to win this war against this kind of evil empire, Russia, to go and help and buy those war bonds. Number two, we still do have about 50 employees which were based in Ukraine. Most of them moved to the kind of safe part of, Ukraine on the west side, the city called Lviv, which is right on the border with Poland. And we have about two gentlemen, great people. They've been kind of working for our company for the past 3 years. Young guys, super smart, super talented, and they joined, Ukraine Army. So we haven't heard back from them in the past couple of days. We're trying to be very supportive, but they're actually on the front lines defending the city called Kharkiv, which is, it's kind of all over the news. And we had a pretty big office there. In the meantime, how sad it is, another friend of mine who owns another very successful logistics company, also based in, in Ukraine. They were operating 100% in the U.S. transportation market, and he had about 900 employees in the same town called Kharkiv. And they just built a brand new, beautiful building, beautiful glass. They had about 900 employees, and all of them had to move out. And a couple of days ago, I watched a video. Well, that beautiful, brand new office was just getting bombed, which was so sad to watch it. And so it's brutal what's happening. But there's a couple of strategies that I was trying to deliver. Like you said, trying to be effective. I was trying to deliver, in media like ABC News and NBC and MSNBC. The most important is to stop this, this evil empire and is to cut the oil prices. That's probably the most effective, because while we're putting sanctions on all of the Russian banks, which probably are associated with some of Putin's friends, some other ones are not really, but still, he's keep financing this war with oil. Oil, barrel of oil is the last thing I saw, it's $130 a barrel, which is insane. And I've been since day one. I mean, recently, just for the past couple of days, finally conservatives started stepping up and, pushing Biden, to reopen Keystone Pipeline. I've been doing it since day one, even prior to this war. And every time I say this on TV or on ABC, NBC, they keep cutting this out. So I don't know what the agenda, what the news they're trying to deliver. I appreciate them having me on their channels. But the most important, we need to reopen Keystone Pipeline. We need to cut the oil prices down to at least 50%. And I do believe if Biden announced, let's say today or tomorrow, that he's reopening Keystone Pipeline in Pennsylvania, the oil price will probably drop 50% overnight, maybe even immediately. So, we have to continue putting pressure. And of course, a lot of Americans also unhappy. I'm sure you guys seen the price of gallon for gas. It's just completely insane. And just that's what kind of the entire world needs at this moment. And he's totally ignoring it. So I don't know what the agenda, what he's trying to do, what his plan of action, but it's just sad to watch.
It is, and we're joined live on the phone with the CEO of CDL1000, Andrew Sobko. Andrew, you've got an office in Florida, and it's interesting that Senator Rick Scott there just came out with a quote: "Who in their right mind doesn't believe that America should be doing everything we can to be energy independent?" And I think, you're spot on that now is the conversation to talk about energy independence. I just saw, and we're going to talk about this a little later in the show, gas prices in parts of California up to $7 already. Could go even higher. The average gas price right now across the country in the U.S. is $4, but again, in some parts like in California, $7. It is unbelievable. We need to stop funding Putin's war in Ukraine and become energy independent. I have to agree with you, and I, would be shouting this to the mountaintops that we need to have this conversation. Andrew, you are 100% correct, and I don't know why some of those in the media do not want to have this conversation.
Yeah, absolutely. I have no idea why, but we have to keep kind of pounding this message, and hopefully, Biden will see it, will get it, and will under massive pressure. Hopefully, he's going to do it. And he even might get reelected for doing it.
No, that's right, Andrew. We've just got a couple more minutes. You're in touch with ministers, high level government officials there in Ukraine. My final question to you is what's their demeanor? Is it one of patriotism and they're ready to fight? Are they exhausted? Is there an end in sight for this? Any idea of what their thoughts are as you have these communications with these government officials in Ukraine?
So they're definitely not exhausted. I mean, I can feel they're probably getting a little bit tired, but they're on a mission. Like when you see Russian soldiers are completely actually exhausted. They in many cases I can send you some videos and pictures where Russian soldiers came to Ukraine and they had some boxes of food which expired back in 2015. That's completely insane. So those soldiers are getting completely devastated. They kind of losing their morale, while Ukrainian people fighting back, civilians are fighting back. So it's kind of great to watch, like Ukrainian entire nation became so united overnight. And so I had a conversation with my dad, and my dad is telling me that he'd never seen anything like it. Young people, older guys are signing up into army and going fighting to defend themselves and to defend their country and defend their freedom. And in many cases, just so you know, while talking to different ministers, it's not like, Ukraine is asking for U.S. soldiers. We're not asking for soldiers. So basically, we're asking for proper ammunition to defend themselves. In many cases, President Zelensky been asking to close the sky just so we will win over on the ground because we don't have enough planes. But in this moment, he started changing his message. And for the past, I'm sure you heard yesterday, he had a call with, all U.S. senators. He's being very specific. He needs 100 planes or 200 planes. He's asking for exact planes. We have enough soldiers to fight and defend themselves. All Ukraine needs right now, just the proper planes. We got a lot of ammunition. We have the support from all over the world, and with the right planes, we will defend ourselves effectively.
Andrew Sobko, CEO of CDL1000, with offices in Chicago, Florida, and Ukraine. God bless you, my friend, and our thoughts and our prayers are with the Ukrainian people. Thank you for joining me.